So welcome everybody to the Tuesday, January 19th, 2021 regular meeting of the Town of Easton Planning and Zoning Board. Excuse me. In keeping with the ongoing emergency order from Governor Charlie Baker to limit gatherings and maximize social distancing, and under legislation passed to address remote board meetings during this emergency declaration, this meeting will be conducted remotely over Zoom. Attendance by board members will be remote, and remote attendance shall count towards quorum. The meeting will also be available on ECAT. To use Zoom, you will need to use the link on the agenda or download the application and create an account. You will need the webinar ID to join by phone only. While conducting meetings remotely, we will endeavor to keep meeting operations as close to our standard procedures as possible. However, use of this platform will necessitate some additional meeting protocols. While the board members and applicants will be on video and audio, public participants will join the webinar as an attendee, meaning they are muted with no video feed from them. During the public testimony portion of the meeting, members of the public can be recognized by using the raised hand function on Zoom or make a request with the Q&A function on Zoom. If you are joining only by phone, you can press *9 to raise your hand. If an applicant wishes to display materials, please make the request of the chair and email the materials to the board. Business will be handled at the time indicated on the agenda. Of course, we don't call out time, so I guess I didn't need to read that, did I? Board members are asked to announce themselves when making a motion and a second so that it will be clear to the audience and minute takers who made the motion. All votes will be by roll call. So we will start to ensure we have a quorum. We'll start with a roll call. Strange here.
Anderson here.
Balsaric here.
All right. I guess, did I hear Amos in there?
No. Amos,
Unmute.
unmute.
I'm here.
Thank you.
And okay, so I don't see Peter in the participants wing. So for this meeting, let's see, we have a special permit and how many members? So Amos will sit in as a full board member.
And the participant, the applicants are already panelists. You will see them.
Yeah, we see them.
Hello? The applicants. Oh, you mean, okay. How come I don't see it? That's fine.
Jennifer Schenk and you.
Oh, okay, right there, sure. Okay, so first up, we have a continued public hearing for 83 Depot Street, special permit in-law apartment number 20-215. And so as Stephanie said, we have the applicant before us. So when and if you guys speak, if you just identify yourselves for the record. And Stephanie, how do you want to handle it? Is there anything I know you had written a report on this. Do you want to discuss first, or do you want to open it to the applicant? How would you like to handle this?
Well, let me just, would you like me to just recap, and I can share my screen so we can also see this. I did. I would say it's less of a report. So can you see my screen with?
Yes.
Okay. And really what I did, and thank you, Greg, because he had done the hard work and I just copied and pasted it in. What we did was extracted the sections of the bylaw that were relevant to the question at hand, which is whether the in-law apartment as proposed is attached, which the language in the bylaw indicates it should be either incorporated within the existing family dwelling or attached to an existing dwelling, or whether as proposed it's a standalone unit. And that was the question at hand that the board had. I think I indicated in my report that I did talk, that the building inspector had indicated under the building code, he would consider it attached by way of the roof to be constructed between the existing house and the proposed apartment. He reaffirmed that after the meeting.
Okay.
And at this point, Greg, as chair, I don't, you may want to ask the applicant to respond, or?
Yes, I was just going to do that. If there's anything the applicant wishes to say, feel free.
I just want to make sure everybody can hear me now, right?
I can hear you. Yeah.
Okay, well, John DeRosa here with my sister Jennifer Schenk. Thank you for your time again, Mr. Chair and members of the board.
Sure.
Just the idea of the attachment of the apartment to the house with the roof line, that was just something that me and the architect came up with. I mean, it was at the tail end of several ideas as to how to best make the apartment work. With the house as it sits right now, it kind of sits up on a hill. And I really wanted to avoid two things: adding the apartment attaching it to the house and having it at a higher elevation would kind of create a big castle on a hill kind of look, which I wanted to avoid.
We were also trying to avoid stairs.
So we're dropping the apartment to the actual grade of the property right now to avoid any kind of stairs. The roof line attachment is just the best way that we came up with to, well, attach the apartment and have it still look like the old farmhouse style that we were trying to go for.
And then we were also under the impression that we couldn't have a front door. So we also decided that that would be the best place to put a safe, accessible door.
So now you have a door on the side in between the house and the apartment, a door in the back of the apartment.
So that was just our thought process that we came up with the architect, when this was the best way to do it. And again, we thought that according to the bylaws, this would be an okay attachment. And then that's kind of where we're at.
That's kind of where we're at, yeah.
Okay, great. So I think it's interesting when we wrote this bylaw maybe 3 years ago, 4 years ago, and this is the first time we've really had, you try to capture everything in a bylaw, but you never will. Sometimes you'll, and I think you guys have done, your designer, I think your architect's done a great job with this. And if there hadn't been, if Stephanie had not let us know ahead of time that the building inspector was okay with this, I would have, personally, myself, I would have come out and said, oh, I think this is, two separate structures, not quite what we were looking for in the bylaw, for all the reasons I brought up last week. I don't need to rehash that. And then the fact that, and I got thinking about it, the fact that Mr. Greiner considers this one structure, that's fine. It doesn't necessarily mean, I don't think that means it necessarily meets the bylaw, or at least in my opinion, but I don't, or that, I don't think building code necessarily, it usually doesn't come into conflict with zoning bylaws this way. Usually it's the other way around, a board trying to get something passed that might not be allowed by code. So I guess I'd open this up to the other board members and see, and you're right, we talked about, and it's interesting, we always thought, because when we wrote this bylaw, we always thought they would be attached. And or inside. So when we talked about a door, well, we didn't want two doors right up front. Of course, if there was a front door on this design, the way you've done it, given the break in topography, it works. So it shows that the bylaw probably has a couple imperfections in it that both came up on this one. So board members, we've had a couple weeks on this. Any thoughts or questions or comments?
Do we have a definition for attached in our bylaw?
Yep,
We do. It's on Stephanie's report that she gave us.
yeah.
And I think she's sharing with the screen right now. There's a definition for detached, which is where I was getting
Well,
caught
right.
up.
So you have building, an attached building is a building having any portion of one or more walls in common with adjoining buildings. And then detached is a building having open space on all sides.
So is the wall that is in common, what would that wall that's in common be?
There is no wall in common.
There isn't one. That's the problem.
I think from the board's perspective, and this was my initial reaction, was that, a roof is a roof, it's not a wall.
Can I ask a question? You talked to the building inspector, that he considered the fact that there is a roof in between the two makes the wall of the house a common wall? You can interpret that way. Is that what he?
No, a roof is a roof and a wall is a wall. He is, Stephanie, I'll let you answer that since you spoke with him.
Yeah, basically what he's saying is because you have the roof connected to each building, that means the building's attached. And it would be attached at the roof, not necessarily at a wall.
So if
And I'm adding the not necessarily at a wall because the building inspector didn't say he was considering the roof a wall.
I asked the same question I asked in the previous meeting. If this breezeway will have walls enclosing the breezeway, and with
then it would have a common wall, in my opinion.
right, then that will be.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Right. So
I think
the fact that this is just a roof, some people will interpret that as not attached and making the main house wall not the common wall.
So
Correct.
Are we splitting hair here with this?
No, well, I think, that's up to interpretation. I think we have three options. As one of the authors of the bylaw, I feel confident in saying that we didn't intend for there to be two standalone dwelling units. That's why it's called in the definition, it's called something else. I don't want to circle back. So we have three options. One, we could vote to approve this, and then we would, after this, as a board, as the chair, I would feel my responsibility to bring up at least a discussion at a subsequent meeting about whether we want this to be the case. This has, under the previous building inspector, this would not have been allowed. And, some people may feel that having detached units like this are good. Some towns have this. That's just a discussion we haven't had. It wasn't, in my opinion, the intent of the bylaw. And again, being involved in it, I feel confident saying that. So I feel my responsibility that we need to bring this up in the future, again, if we pass this tonight, to have a discussion and vet it the same way we do. Ask the citizens in our town where we are their representatives. Second option would be that this is voted down by the board. Being a special permit, it would mean it could not come back to this board unless it would have to be passed by a supermajority, either a unanimous 3 or 4 of 5. And correct me, Stephanie, And I think if we were to vote it down, they could go to the ZBA for an appeal. I would, I'd rather not put this family through that. I don't like to go, I don't think that's I don't think that's necessarily the way to do it. If we felt strong as a board that we should allow it, then we can always do it and amend it. And a third option would be if it was proposed to close it in, then we, at least from then to me, I think the issue goes away. But that's not what's before us, and I don't want to. I can't speak for the homeowner. So those are our three issues. So I don't think we're splitting hairs because, again, you asked me last week what are the pitfalls, and not take this current project out of it. I just see if all of a sudden we're going to we have not allowed two separate. Although attached with a sliver of a roof, we have not allowed that in Easton in the past, and I think we would see a rush for this. And maybe that's a good thing, maybe it's a bad thing, but it hasn't been vetted out. So that's just my concern.
So should we mention now that
I mean, I want to, one of my goals is to try to make this project go as efficient and as, well, frankly, as quickly as possible.
Sure.
So I guess where I'm at right now is what is in the best interest of my family? Like, well, do you want me to try to redesign something? I really believed this was the most aesthetically pleasing way of doing this and the most, I think, efficient way of doing it.
So I guess rather than getting a denial,
I don't want to get a denial.
we'd rather
No, I understand.
definitely
I understand.
consider making that if this attachment doesn't fly, would definitely consider making the attachment a breezeway, as long as a breezeway is considered a door, as long as that's a safe access into that apartment.
And also the term breezeway, it might be more of a mudroom than a breezeway.
An enclosed porch or
enclosed
whatever it is,
porch,
mudroom, right? Mudroom,
Yeah,
vestibule.
I didn't want to give the impression I was trying to go through.
Yeah, no, I know what you're saying. I mean,
Yeah.
to me right
Like
now, it's a breezeway
everybody
because a
happy
breeze
working
goes
with-
through it, right? So,
Right.
Yeah.
yeah, in
Without
my
getting technical again, yeah.
I mean, in my opinion, if this was enclosed, it now has a common wall. And okay, and then you have the option, I know you can put a door on the back, but given the design, and this is a special permit, we would have the ability to allow a door on the front, which I think, again, it's all subjective, but I think in my opinion, it would work on this design. And I can only speak for myself. Then I don't have an issue. I'm fine with this. And again, the reason is, and well, why? Amos, if you're, because I don't like to create, I don't want a board to be burdensome, right? And you said a second ago, we try to make this a process as efficient, as predictable as possible, because that, to me, that's the best result for everybody. But every so often, you just come up with one of these things in the bylaw, and I just think there's less opportunity for. I just think having this enclosed fits the intent of the bylaw. I'll just leave it at that. More than it does now.
If I may just speak quickly, based on the definition that's definitely set up, an in-law apartment is a self-contained housing unit attached or incorporated within. So obviously this would be attached. And then under building attached, it says a building. In order to be a building, it has to have a roof with enclosed exterior walls. So like Greg said, if it had 4 walls, I would think it meets our bylaw. So I don't know if you guys are opposed to that, but that may be a suggestion.
Yeah, just that will complete the issue, and this enclosed connection in between the two buildings, if you will, doesn't need to be insulated because it's a mudroom. It's an enclosed breezeway.
Mm-hmm.
What makes it less expensive, I don't know if the reason to put only a roof there was to make it simpler and less expensive, but it really contradicts the intention of the bylaws, if not exactly the wording of the bylaw.
No, if I may speak, no, we just wanted it to be obvious where the door was. We were just concerned about, like, say, if an ambulance came to the house, we
Sure.
didn't want to be having a tough time figuring out where the door was. We thought with this design, we were gonna have recessed lighting put into the roof and something signifying. like,
Frankly,
this
a
is
walkway.
separate-
There'd be a
yeah.
walkway coming from the side to the front of the building anyway.
But rather than put this to a vote and be denied, would be willing to, again, meet with our architect and have her make this a mudroom or a breezeway. And re-meet with,
To
reconvene you
enclose
guys
it.
again.
So why don't we take what's the flavor of the board? Would the board feel enclosing it is necessary or?
I'd be comfortable with that.
I agree.
So me too.
Well, it sounds like it would get it sounds like if it was enclosed, it would get approved, and I would certainly entertain a motion, again, in the spirit of expediency and efficiency, and you guys, I do appreciate the work you put in on this project. It's
Mhm.
a lot
Thank
of
you.
thought's
Thank
gone
you.
into it. It's kind of ironic. Sometimes we see things that seem to have very little thought and they breeze through, and then here's one that had, I think it's a great design. And I think it still can be. And so I appreciate you indulging us. But I think a motion that would, we could certainly make a motion to approve this contingent upon, just a plan being submitted to the board that just shows, that it's enclosed. You don't have to.
I mean, that would work great for me because, like I said, I got no problem with the mudroom concept. Mostly I'm concerned about timing right now.
Right, no, I
Weather's
understand.
good.
That
I've got
gives you time to
contractors lined up.
Yeah,
we wanna-
exactly. That gives you time to get it figured out design wise, but you can,
Yeah.
right. It's, we all know what COVID's done to construction availability. So,
Yes, believe me, yeah.
and Stephanie, right, there's no reason we couldn't do it that way, right? I don't think.
I know if the board's comfortable with that, that's fine. And what I'm hearing is that when they come back with the design showing that that's enclosed, it would go to the board just for your final approval.
Yeah, I mean, I'm saying we could vote, I would recommend we vote to approve it tonight.
Right.
And then just contingent upon, we see the plans before.
Right.
Yeah.
Similar to any, any.
Even when you go for the building permit, they'd come to you that way. So either way.
Yeah.
So if anybody else has anything to say to that or disagrees, feel free. Or if somebody wants to make a motion, feel free.
Greg, Chair, what I think we need to take in consideration is not this for taking care of the bylaws with a little more detail about this. So it's not wide open as it is today.
Yeah, we'll talk about that after.
And the second thing is, I don't know who, but we might need to also discuss with the building inspector.
Yeah, already underway on that one.
Okay.
But I appreciate that.
I'll make a motion to approve the special permit contingent on plans showing an enclosed walkway between the two structures.
Second.
Could we amend that just to say enclosed room?
Excuse me, Mr. Chair, we didn't close the hearing.
Oh, okay. Well, hold that thought, Bob.
That'll give me time to amend the motion.
Exactly. Would you, all right, so
Motion to close the public hearing.
I just want to explain to the applicant, so closing the public hearing means that we will take no more information. But you could submit the plans as part of the motion. So,
Okay, yeah.
so would you like us to close the public hearing?
Yes,
Okay, I will now entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
Motion to close public hearing for 83 Depot Street in-law apartment.
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none and seeing none. All those in favor, Strange, aye.
Anderson, aye.
That's an aye.
Balsaric.
Mike.
Okay, that was unanimous. Now, Bob,
Motion to approve the special permit contingent on showing an enclosed walkway.
Closed room.
Enclosed room.
I thought you
Second,
did that on purpose. Did I hear a second?
yes.
I did. Okay. Any
wait.
further discussion?
Greg,
Yeah.
my only question is, I don't think that this will be the case in this instance because I agree that the design seems like it's been thoughtfully laid out. But like, what is our recourse, say, should the attached walkway come back? You know, not similar to, say, what's shown right now on the elevations.
We would call them and say, please, can you do it differently?
I'm just saying.
but no, I understand what you're
something
saying,
like,
but
and subject to our approval or something like that, like just
Sure.
in that we could, you know,
yeah, within reason, sure.
Well, Mr. Chair, we need to take care of the bylaws on this.
Okay, well, let's get through this first.
Yes,
Baby
well, and that will answer her question.
Right. Yeah, so we'll make that part of the motion, I guess, right?
yeah, you got
Fine
that,
by me.
Suzanne, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
I kind of, yeah.
So moved.
So, exactly. Okay. So we have any further discussion? No virtual waves online. All those in favor of the amended Strange Eye?
Mike?
Stetson, aye.
Anderson, I.
Balsaric, aye.
That is unanimous. Great. So, John and Jennifer, thank you very much.
Thank
for
you
your
very
patience.
much, board. We
Mr.
appreciate your-
Mr. Chair, the whole board, thank you. We appreciate it.
And good luck. And just when you get the plans, just, you know, you can upload them and just alert Stephanie, or maybe just email them to Stephanie and then,
Definitely will do.
great.
Thank
Good luck.
you all again very
All right.
much.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
All right. Next up, continued site plan review for 33 Robert Drive.
Oh, I'm sorry, I was slow in, I'm going to promote Aaron to panelist. I don't know that, I mean, there are a lot of people with Aaron tonight on that, but what the board was waiting for was final confirmation from Woodard and Curran that the stormwater management design complied with all the necessary standards. We received that confirmation from Woodard and Curran. There were no additional comments or issues that needed to be addressed.
So nothing else to present. Any board members, any questions, comments, motions?
I'll make a motion to approve the site plan.
Second,
Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor, Strange Eye.
Stetson, aye.
Anderson, I.
Balsaric, aye.
Mike?
Great. Motion passes unanimously. Aaron, one question. When does construction start?
As soon as possible. I think, you know, springtime they're shooting for, so
Yeah. And what?
pretty quick.
3-month build?
Yeah, I think as quick as they can. I know it's a fast track.
All right. So when do you think I can get my coffee?
Hopefully by Christmas.
Oh, Christmas. Such a politician. All right. Great. Well, good luck. Thank you, sir.
Take care. Thank you
All
all.
right. Thanks. Stephanie, thank you for your help on that.
You're welcome.
Next up, we have a request from Owl Ridge Estates, 58 Mill Street, for both the definitive subdivision plan and the special permit for the estate lot to continue to February 16th, 2021.
Motion to continue public hearing on 58 Mill Street and 5 Owl Ridge Road to February 16th.
Second,
Any further discussion? Hearing.
I
and-
just have one. Listening to Rob say Owl Ridge, I realized that's a mouthful. I think we should have them change the name of the road.
Why, did he fumble it?
No, but it's a
A
mouthful.
little bit.
Owl Ridge, Owl Ridge. It does not just flow off the tongue.
Boy, I am going to be very conscious of how I pronounce street names from now on. So was there a second in there?
Yes.
Yes, there was. All right, I cleared the books and no one's waving. So all those in favor, Strange eye.
That's an aye.
Anderson, I.
Balsaric, aye.
Tatum, I.
That is unanimous. And next we have a request to continue to February 1st, 2021. Sawmill Village, 560 Foundry Street for definitive subdivision and special permit other.
Motion to continue Sawmill Village definitive subdivision and special permit to February 1st.
Second.
All those in favor, Strange eye.
That's an aye.
Anderson, I.
Balsaric, aye.
Tatum, I.
Very bien. All right. Thank you. Next up, Green Hill Estates, request to release funds for work completed. Stephanie, the floor is yours.
Okay, and I just made Alan Drunas a panelist. He's here. We have received.
Good evening, Mr. Andrunas.
Good evening, Mr. Chair.
We have received a request for a release of funds of the cash surety that's being held against construction of the Deborah Lee Lane roadway extension. I just displayed for you the latest road cost estimate, which was completed by Pat Brennan at Amory Engineering in December. And this identifies the outstanding work and the value of that with the 3-year inflation rate, which is $30,000. We have the cash surety was $90,181. So Al, I don't know if you have anything else to add to that. My
No,
recommendation.
just want to, release the difference and tell the board that a lot of the items that, since Pat has been out there to do the inspection, like the as-built plan is virtually done. The sweeping of the road is something, we'll do at the very end. There's some miscellaneous landscaping and some monuments to put in, and that's about it. So, we hope to, it's a weather issue. We're blessed with some great weather right now, so we are doing a little work. We're up there actually mowing the retention pond on Friday, I'm sorry. And, so the remainder of the work will be done at the latest, I would say sometime in April, but hoping to do it sooner.
And then I just have one question. This was intended to be an extension of the public way, correct? So was this?
No, this is a
private way?
The private way, yes. So the people are at this point, there are 4 homes that were proposed are now occupied, and the people have, formed their own association, taking care of their drainage, taking care of their snow plowing. I guess those are really the only items. So we're just going to finish up what we have on here and come back to you when we're done.
Okay.
All right.
So my
Do we have the exact amount for the?
no.
Just the difference of.
What I would like the board to vote is to release all funds, leaving $30,063 in the
Okay. Who wants to say so moved?
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion by the board? Questions? Hearing none. I don't see anybody waving, right? Let me just check. No. All those in favor of release, Strange eye.
That's an aye.
Anderson, I.
Balsaric, aye.
Tatum, I.
That's unanimous. Thank you, Mr. Andrunas. Good luck.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, the remainder of the board, and thank you, Stephanie. Have
You're
a good night.
welcome.
Thank you.
two.
All right. So next up we have minutes, and I had one correction in there. Anybody else have anything? While I search for mine, where was it? Well, if I can't find it, I guess it wasn't that important. I'll say I'm fine with it. I guess upon further review. So, if anybody else had any comments, but feel free at your leisure.
Motion to approve the meeting minutes.
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none. All those in favor of approving the meeting minutes? Strange eye.
Stetson, aye.
Anderson, I.
Ralph Sarah guy.
Never mind.
All right. So chair's report, not too much report. I do, I'll discuss this with Stephanie tomorrow during our weekly call. But at our next meeting, I think we need to start to look at any proposed zoning for town meeting, spring town meeting. And I think we should probably take a look at to Karen's, Amis's earlier point, maybe tweaking, taking a look. Maybe we're okay with it, or maybe we need to tweak a little bit the two-family. I'm sorry, the in-law bylaw, the wording of it. And I think we also probably have a discussion on zoning in a couple areas of town. And then I think we'll maybe start to talk about a working plan for both design regulations for the Furnace Village District and just a couple other. I want to start to introduce some graphic user interface, as they say, into our into our bylaws, or at least our bylaw interpretations, to help out other boards such as building height, which has come up a bunch. Other than that, I can't think of anything. So I think that's mostly. But if there's anybody, so long story short, we'll have a discussion on zoning for town meeting at our next meeting. So feel free to bring anything up that you have been considering.
Mr. Chair, or maybe Stephanie, what happened with the sawmill project that is not coming up anymore?
What's going on with it?
Yeah.
They have been working on it. It's all tied up with the floodplain analysis. So that was reviewed by Woodard and Curran. There was additional information that was needed for the floodplain manager at Woodard and Curran to be able to assess whether their models supported the revised floodplain line. There have been conversations between the engineers at Conoco and Woodard and Curran, and additional information has been provided. So they're reviewing that. It's been a back and forth. I've had conversations with the project proponent about this, trying to keep it moving forward.
It's coming up on the 1 year anniversary that we sent it on its way.
Yes.
Yeah. Mr. Chair, I have another question related to when we wrote the bylaws, special for this area, the area of sawmill. We say that we are going to have some kind of design guidelines that we need to work on. Is that something that is in our to-do list?
You mean for the Furnace Village District? Yeah, that's what I was just mentioning. So yeah, we're gonna, I've actually been nipping away at it, and then I want to just start the ball rolling in terms of how we want to do the process at the next meeting, and if we want to do a subcommittee, or it's so hard not getting together in person.
Yeah, this is a work session more than.
Right. So that's why we just, well, yeah, so we'll talk, we'll talk that and hammer that out at the next meeting, and then get going on it. Because I'd like to have it, assuming everything's gonna, it passed at the last town meeting, just the dimensional requirements got not addressed because of a quorum call. So we'll have to wait till May. Do we have the date yet for town meeting? May something.
If I looked at the calendar, I could tell you. So
But-
if you want to hold on a second.
Yeah, that's all right. I mean, you can look, but so, I mean, so Amos, that gives us, it'd be nice to, when everything passes, then there's up to a 90-day appeal period, not appeal period, period waiting for the AG to review. So I think if we could have our design guidelines pretty much wrapped up, by the time of town meeting, it would be nice. That way, whenever AG usually acts a little quicker, and then we can have them all set to go. And then hopefully by then we'll have some, there were some people talking to us about projects, and then COVID kind of put it on hold, and they were thinking again, but then with what happened at town meeting. So I would imagine we'll hear from some folks maybe in the next couple of months regarding the district. So, Stephanie, you have anything you want to add?
I don't have anything at this point.
All right, guys, we're getting spoiled with all these short meetings.
Yeah, and
All
it looks like the next one, if Sawmill, yeah.
How come, do you really think we'll see Sawmill on the 1st? Is the 1st the next meeting?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it'll be a pretty light meeting too, if Sawmill, I
Continues again?
anticipate that this actually will be continued again beyond the 1st, but we shall see.
Okay. Well, that's good. We can have a working session, bang out some zoning and just discuss a couple things. So, all right. Who wants to bring us home?
Motion to adjourn.
Second,
All those in favor, strange eye.
That's an aye.
Anderson, I.
Oh, Sarah guy.
Kevin, aye.
All right. Great. Well, thanks, everybody. Thank you, Stephanie.
You're welcome. Good
And
night. Thank
Have
you.
a good night, everybody.
Night.
Aye.
Thank you.